Evening, everyone, and welcome to the Melbourne Metro Recap Show for round 11. Now, tonight I'm joined by Toddy Simmons, we all know Toddy, and Dean Kuran from Middle Park. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, how are you?
Matty? Good. So, what did we get up to on the weekend? We'll get to your game, Dean, of course. Toddy, get up to much? Did you play or not?
No, I didn't play this week. I've been at basketball all weekend doing the all the filming of Jets basketball tournaments. So, yes.
I've got to talk to you about that too, mate. There's a new camera coming out, so similar to mine, but the upgraded version. Apparently, it's quicker, so I can follow people up and down the court. So you may be out of a job if
that's okay.
Yeah, you just stand there and hit the remote, and off you go. So we've got Dean on. Unch had to pull out for family reasons. Now, as per usual, everyone, questions and comments in the comments section. I'll try and keep up. There are 100 messages last week that I wasn't able to keep up with. Now, before we get off to get a start on the show proper, I just wanted to show everyone this. So, a lot of people will know Cam Bell from Narre Warren Bowls Club. Now, Cam has fallen pretty ill, and he's had to stop working, etc. And, of course, he's got a young family. So Narre Warren having this fundraiser, including guest speakers, Peter Dacos, Anthony Koutafidamides, Jack, I Think I'm a Superstar Ginnivan, Barry Michaels and Lester Ellis. So it's on Feb 28th at the club starting at 7 p.m. Details are on your screen now. If you can't make it, I'm sure if you ring the club and you'd like to donate something, they'd be more than pleased with that. So, yeah, get together, help Cam out because, yeah, he's going through a really, really tough time at the moment and decent bloke.
Yeah, good bloke, Cam. Obviously, I won't be able to make it, but I'll get my wife's business. We'll send over a couple of hooded cozies that they can auction off that valued at about $60 each. So,
yeah,
we'll be doing that. No,
that'd be good. Like I said, Cam's a really good bloke, and I've heard he's pretty ill, and he's gone downhill pretty quick. So not nice. It's a bit undiagnosed at the moment. What's going on? So on happier news, we've got this little bloke here. I saw it on one of the chats. Little Oliver Marin, kid's 7 years old, and he played in the Bendigo Div 2 side on the weekend and bagged best on ground. So, cracking effort for Oliver, 7 years old, and he's playing Div 2. Well, he filled in, but
Yeah, I heard about this. He came on as a late sub because I think someone fell ill or hurt
somebody
themselves.
Pulled out.
And, good moment for the young fella. I'm sure Bradley and Taylor be loving that.
Yes, exactly. So
I know all about little kids playing, and hopefully he has a good journey.
He should. Craig Moore's just popped up and said, thanks for posting the Narre thing, but we're going to post that, show that every week and try and get as much support as we can for Cam there. Now, Johnny Rich has been on Facebook. Dino, you'll know what this. Johnny Rich has posted during the week. Finals qualification time, just so we keep the main man off here. Everyone remember the rules in the last 3 rounds. So, did you watch the show, Toddy, last week?
No, I saw bits and pieces of it, but I haven't seen the whole show.
We've got a new section, Toddy.
Yeah.
The TAB Melbourne Metro Recap Show markets. So first up, we've got Graham Baker posts about finals qualifications for the 2025 season coming in at $1.20. Somebody posts about the heat policy again coming in at $1.75 because I think every hot day we've had, somebody's posting about it. This would have been funny if Unch was on, but he's not. Unch and I are playing in the Dandy 12K. So Clarkie plays horribly at the Dandy 12K qualifiers Wednesday night. Short price favourite at $1.10. Again, this was meant for Unch, but we'll get on to this. Mitcham first to finish second on the ladder at $1.50. And Croydon Div 3 to bounce back against Barona at home this week at $1.80. So if you want the multi, $5.60 I've worked it out to be. Again, speak to Lucas, who's cashed up. I'm sure he can pay out all the multis in the individual bets.
That last one must be for the Matty Clark Perpetual Trophy.
Oh, it might be, mate. Yes, just yes. Well, we bounced them at Bronia last time, and we've had a couple of Well, I've had a couple of very average games the last couple of weeks. So, yes, and they've caught fire. They actually beat Hillsville, which was second or third, beat them by 50 shots.
You actually won your rink that day. I remember you won your rink that day.
Yes, I did. I did indeed. Hang on. Something's popping up and making noises. So, all right. So we've had a bit of a laugh. We'll get on to controversy corner.
Hey, did you read about what that bloke said? Yeah, I read about that. How shocking.
Oh, you can't say that.
Righto. I saw a post during the week which sort of caught my eye and I made comment on it. Somebody posted about everybody's thoughts on excessive drinking during a game. Now, there's a couple of points I made. Now, the first one is, what do you class as excessive drinking? Because somebody's average drink is somebody else's excessive drinking. But a subject like this really comes down to common sense. But as we all know, common sense has absolutely no place in the sport of bowls. As I said, one person's opinion on excessive drinking is different to others. My main point here, and a lot of people said, oh, well, we don't allow it at our club and we don't allow drinking before and during a game and blah, blah, blah. The one main point I have about that, nobody can dictate what another person can or can't do. That really got my goat because Toddy, who's for you to say that I'm not allowed to have a drink on the show? Not that I do because I'm drinking water. But that's like Toddy, you saying, well, Clarky, I don't want you drinking while we're doing the show.
I beg to differ on that opinion.
I understand it from a bowls culture point of view, etc., but when somebody is told flat out, you can't drink whenever you want, then
it depends how it comes about, I suppose. I know when I first went to Clayton was known as a big drinking club. And they asked me to try and minimise the drinking. So I called a meeting with the whole club and I said, what do we think about it? Do we want to make a general rule as a club that we are allowing drinking? We're allowing a certain amount. We're allowing as much as anybody wants, or we don't want any drinking. And we had a vote as a club, and then about 75% of the members said no drinking at all during pennant.
So that was a club members vote.
Yes.
Yep.
So then I just basically helped the selectors to enforce that when members would come to me and say, player so-and-so was drinking during the game. And I'm like, okay, well, as a club, we made this as a rule. There needs to be some consequences. But if there isn't that put in place, and I think by the whole club as a collective, then no, you can't be saying you can't drink during pennant or what have you. I've always been one that you can drink as much as you like until it's a negative effect on your performance.
Yes.
If that's one drink or 10 drinks, I couldn't care less. As soon as it affects your performance, then you're probably having too much.
Dean, I'll make a couple other points. Of course, stupidity and aggression of any type. Like if someone gets stuck getting silly, of course, you've got to take a stand on that kind of things. Now, the other side of it, and I would like your opinion, because there were a few people that said, well, I got demoted because I was having a beer, and I've actually had that happen to me a year or two ago. I turned up during a pre-season game and went, well, screw it, I'm having a couple of beers. What's wrong with it during a game? There was no agreement, disagreement, or anything else. Week later, the selectors have gone, well, you're not skipping and you're playing second, so it was a major demotion. And I'm like, that's almost discriminating against somebody that likes to have a beer during a game, because a single individual or a couple of individuals have made it their business to go, well, no, we don't agree with it. And that's where I draw the line a little bit, where people take it upon themselves to discipline other people for doing something that they find normal.
Was it in writing?
No, nothing.
So that's where it's different.
Yes.
Whereas, at Clayton, I was like, okay, everyone, here's the rules for the season. Because I had, I'm going to say, like, it wasn't rules, but it was kind of like guidelines. If you wanted to play in the top two sides, you had to train at the club a minimum amount of time. You had to do certain things to be in that collective group of, we'll say, 40 players or, however many. And if you weren't willing to do those things, you weren't in that group. But then you're also, if you wanted to play pennant for Clayton, these were the other guidelines.
Yeah.
And, that's since finished. That's not at the club anymore. When I left, that went as well. But, if it's not written down in, written down in an agreement from the club, I don't think it can be enforced.
No. Now, interesting question for you, Dean, because I remember playing a Middle Park club a couple of years ago in a divisional final or a divisional sectional final, if you know what I mean, the first of the divisional finals. And that team turned up and were rather hungover from the night before, and a lot of them continued to carry on. And again, they weren't a problem, didn't bother me. Like, they were having a good time, but got smashed by 50. But
they must have been promoted the day before.
They were. Yeah. And it's something I'm going to bring up in a couple of weeks, because I actually did put a poll together on one of the Facebook pages last year, and it was a resounding yes to, hey, can we have a day off after the grand final and not be playing divisional straight after? But yes, no, they were promoted, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take our sort of group, as Toddy was saying, when you've got guys and girls who are seeking to play at the highest level that they possibly can, there are, we call them expectations. So whether it's about training, whether it's about your commitment, whether it's about time spent on the green and whatnot, the way you communicate with others, the way that you bring others up. And then when it comes to drinking, we sort of have an unspoken rule of 0.05 and below during a game. There aren't too many blokes, at least that I play with, or girls that I play with, that do drink during the game. I'm not a drinker, but as a club, we do like to have a few post game. But I think when you put a value on your club's culture, and if within that culture you value winning, in my point of view, is you should be doing everything you can to try and win your game. And for some people, I don't think having a six-pack during the game just, ticks that box for me. But I know, and
thanks, mate.
There are people who will, if they're having a stinker out there, they'll go inside, have a shot of whiskey, come back out, and they'll be all guns blazing and they're good to go. So, it is a bit horses for courses. But again, like as you guys were saying, if it's a problem, then sit down and talk with that individual or that group as a club, and nut it out and come to something that's fair for all parties.
Because the other thing that I find, and I've gone through it myself, you never know what that individual's going through. They could be having a shit time in life. They could be struggling with the grog. Could be a combination of both. And to haul that person up in front of the selection committee, just straight up, or the bowls committee, and say, hey, we're not agreeing to your drinking, you're going to get demoted, rah, 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 without sitting down with the person, asking the question, hey, is everything all right? We've noticed you're probably drinking a bit more lately than not. I think that needs to be looked at as well, rather than somebody ruling with an iron fist and just going, no, this is my opinion, and my opinion counts because I'm the chairman of selectors, or I'm a selector and you're getting the arse.
Well, again, I think it comes back to club culture, because if you are a group of people that genuinely care for each other and you walk the walk and not just talk about it, then everyone, or near enough to everyone, should feel comfortable when the bowls coordinator or the club president just says, hey, mate, can we just have a super quick chat? No judgment. It's just, if there is something on, I'm here for you, here for a chat. Because again, they, as you're saying, they may not know of anyone outside the bowls club that they can go to. And oftentimes that club is their safe space. So having people there that are comfortable having that conversation and being a listener, and B, just having that safe space within the club and maybe having one or two individuals who are responsible for that, I think that's a really positive thing.
Yeah. Because it's just, I think it's, look, and I think I'm with you that it's got to be horses for courses. Because I know a few blokes that cannot or will not step on the green without throwing down 4 beers before they even start. And as you said before, there's some people that will walk off and, you know, a shot of something or whatever, come back on and they bowl the house down. And I'll use the great Johnny Snell as an example. I was playing Johnny last year and he wasn't bowling all that well. And, I think I was having a conversation with him and he said, "Oh, mate, is the bar open?" And I said, I can make it open if you want. I've got a 6-pack back there if you want one. And he said, can I grab one? Yeah, fine. And this is, like I said, bloke I class as the godfather of bowls. And I've never seen a bloke down a beer so quick. He literally stood right at the end of the green and went, glug, 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 gone, bang. And he goes, "That'll set on my nerves." And I said, "Oh, what do you mean? How can you be getting nervous?" And he just said, "Hey, as I'm getting older, I get nervous, and some days I just get that nervous and that tied up that I've just got to down a beer." So if he can do it, I think anyone can do it.
Clark as well.
Oh, knock it off.
Stressful enough.
Knock it off, will you? But no, I home games, everyone knows this year, home games, I catch the bus to the club. I'll have a beer before the game. I'll have 2 or 3 in the fridge. So I'll have them up until the break, sit down, have a rest, and then have another 2 or 3 after that. And again, doesn't affect my performance. If it was, I'd be the first one to put my hand up and go, "Well, I'm an idiot. I shouldn't be drinking." But
how do you know? How do you know if it's affecting your performance or not?
Well, I'm shit anyway. So,
so you don't have the answer for that.
No,
because that's the hard part. Because you don't know if
better or
worse without it. So,
mate, I haven't had a drink the last 2 weeks and I've been belted. So I'm looking forward to this week. We're playing at home. Work that out. But again, look, I think, to close off the comment, be wary of other people's situations. I think it is the horses for courses. If you think somebody's excessively drinking, pull them aside, have a chat, and be human about it rather than draconian, if you know what I'm saying. So now, and
there's so many resources out there that can help guide you through those conversations as well. Like, it doesn't need to be, you don't need to stress out about it. There's so many things out there on the web that you can just download and say, how do I start a conversation with someone about drinking?
Yep.
It's very easy to do.
Yep, absolutely. Well said, mate. Look at you, Mr. Political at Middle Park.
No, but I'm studying counselling, so all this stuff's
cool.
Floating above. Yeah.
No, that's good, mate. Good to hear. So, Johnny asked me to just post this up. If people are wondering where I get all my news and get all my stuff and all these conversations, join the Bowls Talk Victoria Facebook page. Johnny Bowles does a great job of running that group. It is really good to, people to post stuff. And I know I've had a go at anonymous posters before, but the alcohol thing was posted by an anonymous poster. And I understand it for that very reason, because they were obviously talking about someone at their bowls club. Didn't want to sort of show who they were. So, all right, let's get into it. Premier League.
All right.
Now, we'll have a look at the results for this week. Now, I have left a couple off, and we'll sort of show what's happening with the ladder, because there was one round 12 game. Toddy Clayton played their round 12 game last weekend.
Week.
So
Saturday. Yeah.
So what we're doing is only showing, we're only showing the round 11 results, the ones that have been pre-played. We'll show the results of next week, but anyone in the know, or even if you see the ladder, you'll see the people that have played. So.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously we've got Altona, Deer Park, good solid win by Deer Park there. And they're going along quite nicely at the moment. Deer Park, and obviously they're a star-studded team, and they're hard to beat. So they're cruising along well on top. And then there was a close game with Melbourne and Moonee Valley, 2.5 rinks. Moonee Valley got.
Yep.
Yeah, only 3 in it, but it was probably a pretty big loss for Moonee Valley, or a big win for Melbourne, given the ladder position. It sort of bunched them all up a bit there, whereas if Moonee Valley had been able to hold off, that would have helped them. They weren't able to do it, and Yarraville Footscray just keeps steaming along. Only got the 14 points, but still, they had a good win over Bundoora, and they're going very well, Yarraville. So credit to them, and they just keep winning. And then unfortunately, Clayton lost to Essendon 14-4, and that was sort of one sort of big losing rink, and that's mathematically it for us now for the season, and we'll be in Prem Reserve next year, unfortunately. But the win gives Essendon a big chance to play finals as well, and it's a little bit complicated, like we're saying, with there's a couple of teams that are 2 games ahead, and some teams are 1 game ahead and stuff. So
I was trying to make sense of it looking at the ladder, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's even, I think, Friday night, Moonee Valley played Footscray for their round 12. And I was watching I was watching the Altona Deer Park game, and somebody kept saying, "Oh, can we get an update on the Moonee Valley game?" And I'm like, "What Moonee Valley's playing tomorrow?" I just could not find it anywhere. So I had no idea what was going on.
Moonee Valley played on Friday night. Moonee Valley, and then Clayton played Altona Saturday last weekend before the Geelong game on the Sunday.
Yep.
Yes. So we've played 12 rounds because we've played next week's game.
Yes.
Already.
So you guys actually don't play next week. You got a week off.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. And everyone that played in that round are unable to play in any other team because we've already played that round. Yeah.
Yes. You answered that question for me last week. Thank you.
Yes. So it's been a little bit confusing this year with the amount of changes, and we only did that, as in Clayton and Altona, because we had international players in our team, and Altona had international players for the Trans-Tasman, which is this coming weekend. So it suited both teams to change the date.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah. It is a little bit confusing. Even I was doing all the ladder, and I'm going, some teams have played 10, 12, some have 11, some have played 12. Yeah,
because they've played round 11, but there was a washout, and in Premier League, they're wanting them all to be replayed. So some have only played 10, whereas we've played 12.
See, Dean, this is what you may have coming up next year.
Well, I'm looking at the ladder now, and it's the thing that gets me. I know that there's games sort of to be played, and it's all scattered. But Toddy, you mentioned Clayton mathematically gone, but there's good
Well, they're not
because there's only the one side that goes down from Prem, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's going to be some strong teams that therefore miss out on finals. It's so tight. It's actually been pretty exciting to watch both Prem and Prem Reserve this year. Just how close it is, and just those fine margins. The one-shot wins, the two-shot wins, the rinks you get up in a loss might end up being the difference between missing it and making it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Can you put the ladder up, Clarkie, please?
I can, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can see we've got Yarraville, 10 points clear on top, but Deer Park have got a game in hand.
Two games in hand.
Oh, yeah, 2 games.
Yeah, they do, yeah. So Yarraville Footscray have played 12.
Yeah.
This is where it gets confusing.
Because they played Moonee Valley and they haven't had the washout.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Deer Park have only played 10 because they haven't played next week's and they've got a washout. So, they're 10 points ahead, but obviously 2 games. And then you got Moonee Valley that have played 12 games on 97 because they've played the same as us.
Oh, yeah, it's 97. Sorry, I got it up as 90. Doesn't matter. It's meant to be 97, people. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Essendon have played 11, but I actually think that's only 10. I'm not sure. Now on 95.
They've got 11.
Yeah, they've got 11. They've done 11.
Yeah, I know, but they've got they haven't played this week, and they were involved in a washout. So I don't understand why. Because if you look, there's only 3 teams on 10, so that can't work out.
No, because Altona was the other team that was part of the washout, and they played you guys last week. That's where it's all getting a bit all over the place, because Altona, because there were 3 teams. That's right. Deer Park, Melbourne, Bundoora, plus Altona. They were the four teams in the washout. Altona have now caught up around.
Okay. Yeah.
So they've probably still got their washout to play, but they played an extra game in advance to play you guys.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a team like Bundy, who's sitting 7th, and they've got a couple games in hand, and a 4-rink win away from 3rd, they can make a big jump from where they are with those couple games in hand.
Yeah, the only 2 that I say are, finished and fixed are Yarraville and Deer Park are finishing top 2. Outside of that, anyone can finish anywhere from 3rd to 7th.
Yep.
Incredible. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Yes. So, yeah, it's good. And, if you have a good, say, last month or what have you, last 3 games of the season, you're going to play finals. If you don't, you're going to probably miss out. So, yeah.
Yeah, just string your last couple of games together and you don't know where you'll finish.
Yeah. But
every game becomes a final, and it's, round 11, round 12.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But I must say, I think Premier League is probably the strongest it's ever been with the amount of fly-ins and stuff. Whereas I think if we go back, maybe it's been getting stronger for maybe the last 3 or 4 years. But I think if you go back, just pick 4 years or 5 years, for the 5 years prior to that, I don't think it was all that strong. But it's been getting stronger for a while, and I don't think it'll get too much stronger. But I actually think they'll change the rules slightly and it'll become weaker next year.
Toddy, what do you reckon's the catalyst from that 3 or 4 years ago, from it being stronger? Was it
fly-ins and
I say Deer Park and their big projects and having the fly-ins and all that?
Yeah, I think it's just the fly-ins that make a big difference. Yeah. And now being able to have 3 fly-ins and 4 permits has made a big difference, which we all know my feelings on that. But yeah.
Hey, Dino, Culsey's saying just tell Dino I love him and stop crapping on about Premier League. Typical.
He's a good lad.
Typical.
He's a good lad.
Oh, he is.
Well, we're moving on to Prem Reserve now, hey?
Yeah, so you're not technically out of it, Toddy, but
why?
You're almost out of it. You're only 35 points behind Bundoora. So
Bundoora, we've got 2 games. We've got 2 games to go.
Yeah, Bundoora's got 4. They could fall in a heap, and you could fall over the line. You could do a Bradbury,
and they get 4 nils.
You could do a Bradbury still.
We haven't got 18 all year.
Mate, a couple of teams to play, a couple unregistered players, and you're sweet.
Mate, there's no R against your name yet. We'll see. There's a couple, but there's no R against your name yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Not far away, but that's okay.
No. All right, Toddy, time to flog your towels. So again, as we know, Hooded Life sponsored the show. And they're doing a deal for bowls towels. Now, if you buy 100 or you order 100 towels, you will get 50 for free. So that's 150 towels for the price of 100. That's $6 a towel, Toddy. You're giving them away.
Pretty much, yep. And so far, I haven't had one club take me up on it yet. So
really?
Come on, clubs, hit me up. Yep, I've sold plenty to clubs. Obviously, the clubs or people don't listen to this show, and no one's actually done that purchase as yet.
I got mine thanks to Toddy. He gave me plenty for part of the sponsorship deal. So no, they're good. Oh, they're awesome towels. A lot of people are commenting on your towels, Toddy, or my and your towels.
Yes.
So
very good.
All right, moving on to Prem Reserve results. Now, I haven't done a lot of study on this stuff, but...
No, I haven't either, but...
No.
Were you going to say something, Dean?
No, I did a little bit of study.
Oh, well, go for it. Go for it. There you go.
Dino's running Prem Reserve. Go for it.
Beauty. So Friday night, there were a couple of games. Flemken got it done over Dandy Club. I believe it was at Flemken. Rink and a half for a 7-shot win. Whittlesea by the barest of margins over Lilydale. Big win for Whittlesea. They absolutely needed that one.
Yes.
MCC. I think these were the top 2 sides, MCC and Port, from memory.
Yeah, that's right.
And they put the hammer down. I know they did have Joey Clark and Jack McShane playing with each other on the same rink, and I think that rink did a lot of damage. And Heathmont defeated by Fitzroy Victoria. 3 games by under 7 shots. I think it just speaks volumes of what's been going on in that division this season. And again, it's up for grabs. There's spots to remain in the division available. There has to be a couple of teams go down, and there's a bit of a squeeze right now.
Yeah, I was keeping track of and I've still got the scores that I was writing here. I was keeping track of the Flemken game for a bit. I'll just pull up their results again. No, I've got them on my thing here. They were at one stage after 56 ends, leading 65-49. So Dandy have put in a decent effort in the last sort of 30 ends or so to bridge that gap. Because I was surprised when I looked at the results today and went, there's only 7 shots in it. So, because at one stage it was 50-43 after 48, then it blew out to 65-49. So it looked like Flemken were going to romp it home from there, and then, looked at the results and went, phew.
And the cool thing about having the live scoring is, you don't necessarily know after the fact which rinks finished last, but if you go back and have a look and sort of track the last 6 or 7 ends for each of those rinks, you can see Dandy Club just really came home hard with some big numbers. So, it must have been alive and kicking in those last few ends.
It would be great if the app would have like live scoring, maybe 4 ends or, every 10 ends or something like that. It would be really good to
or a
see.
timestamp of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, something, I don't know. But it's hard because obviously the IT would allow for it to go, N1, N2, N3, N4, all the way up to 84 to show as to when it was entered. But that might get stuffed if the internet's not working too good, and at the end of the game, the seconds put it all in one go. But
well, that's what happened with the Whittlesea Lilydale game. Because again, I was watching the Prem game, and a lot of people were asking, "What's the score on this? What's the score on that?" And one of the rinks went down on the Lilydale game. So it was sort of like, well, we can add 3, but if we don't know what's happening with the third, we've got no idea.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes someone's phone just doesn't want to work after 5 ends, and I've had it in my rink, and I'm like, don't worry about it. Just play the game. We can worry about that. Just get a scorecard. And they're worrying about every end, trying to get this thing to work, and like, don't worry about it. You can do it later, but it's frustrating, but it's great when it works. It's a great thing for the sport. Yeah,
I think the one, and I'm sure Bowlsvik, because again, it's run by Bowls Australia, and Bowlsvik lend off it, so there's a lot of moving parts in the whole thing. But I think the one thing they could probably improve on is when you go to the game, it gives you a game summary of the score. Because at the moment, what you got to do is go rink by rink and calculate all the scores.
Yeah,
so
and I think it will improve because last year, whenever say you've nominated your teams, that was who played who on the sheet, whatever it was. So on Thursday, when both teams were entered, so then you could always be like, oh, well, this player will always play on rink 1 at home because you just put them first. But now there's a shuffle button for the 2 managers to shuffle. So, that's a great improvement. And I think there is talk about something to do with overall scores for next year to be implemented.
Oh, they will improve it, and that's all good. All right, let's have a look at the Prem Reserve ladder. Again, this is really, really tight. Okay, press the right button.
It's a little bit easier because they've all played the same amount of games.
Yes. So that's, MCC have now sort of not bolted out in front. But yes.
3 games to go. They got to lose 3, and, well.
Yeah.
I can't see them losing top spot.
Yeah, they're 27 points in front. So you'd almost say they're locking it in, but yes.
You're only making up 10 points a round on average.
Yeah.
You normally don't win 18-0 and they normally don't lose 18-0.
No.
So, you get 16 and they get 2 or 4 or something, you make up 12 or whatever.
That's right. But see, that's why MCC's win over Port, and by a fair margin too, was probably, the main factor as to why MCC will finish on top. That was a crucial game, and to win by that margin. So, Heathmont third, Fitzroy, Lilydale, Dandy, everyone can read. Now, Flemken,
they mustn't be as well.
No, but Flemken mustn't be picking up a lot of rink wins when they do go down, because Dandy's 4-6-1, and they're on 86 points, and Flemken's 5 wins, 6 losses, flat out. So there should be
that's only 2.5 rinks difference. So it's not much difference at all. It's because they got the draw, which is 5 points. So yeah.
But again, Whittlesea's a win or 2. Like if they win 2 of their last 3, that could make it even more interesting.
Well, they could be in the finals.
Based upon that, Whittlesea are getting a lot of rinks.
Yes, they are. So they're not getting. Look at the shot difference for Flemken. They're minus 146 as opposed to Whittlesea's, negative 51. So Whittlesea's not losing by a lot when they are, getting beaten. So again, Whittlesea's 3 wins away potentially from making the finals.
Yeah, they win 3, they'll make finals. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it depends who plays who, but yes.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And I think I'll do a bit of
this week. The top 4 are all playing the bottom 4.
Yeah, I did look.
So maybe there'll be some separate.
Whittlesea were playing Port or MCC this weekend. I had a look.
Whittlesea have MCC.
Yeah. So they need to win that all.
But we know with Prem Reserve, doesn't matter. You could say, the top 4 is playing the bottom 4. Yeah, that might work for Division 2, but it's not a given in Prem Reserve. It's not a given in Prem. It's not a given in Prem Reserve. Yeah. We've seen too many close games. I brought up the stat, halfway through the year, 50% of clubs are only winning at home. So anything can happen on the Saturday or the Friday night or the Sunday or whenever they play.
For sure.
So, righto. Div 1. Let's get into it. This is Dean's favourite topic. We'll look at Div 1, Section 1. So, over the weekend, Glenroy defeated Deer Park 82-81. 2-rink split there. Brunswick, finally, Toddy. Brunswick are on the board again. So I'm sure they're happy about that. They did play against Aberfeldy, but a win's a win at the end of the day, and I'm sure Brunswick are very happy with the win. So that's their first win after round 4, or since round 4. So I'm sure they'll be stoked with that. Kingsbury, 94, all rinks up, defeated Yarraville Footscray. So that was the battle of 4 versus 5. So we'll see that on the ladder, but that's a decent win by Kingsbury. Maybe Yarraville had some of their fly-ins out over the weekend. It's something you've got to think about when you're looking at these teams, because some of them have got, Premier League teams.
I don't believe they did, but yeah.
Yeah. And Club Sunbury, 80, defeated Melton 75. Very close game there, considering Club Sunbury are second, Melton was 7th. So not a bad go there by Melton at all, considering they haven't had the best of years. So just
I heard a whisper. From, because I know you guys like whispers.
Yes.
Just from someone who said something to someone that sort of piqued my interest, was that there's a few sides. There's a few sides in the top 4 of that division, but the one side that no one wants to play at the moment is Melton.
Right.
They see Melton as being one of those sides that can really get some scalps on the way home. And you see that, like Sunbury playing at home, that's a pretty difficult place to win away, and Melton have nearly done it. So there's a lot of talent there.
So, in other words, I'll quickly whip over and see who Melton's got on the trip home. They have got Glenroy, top of the ladder, Glenroy. Then they've got Yarraville, Footscray. Then they've got Aberfeldy in their last game. So they could...
Is it because Melton will be... Melton
have got Kingsbury. Yeah, Melton have got Kingsbury, in a week. So they've got Glenroy, Kingsbury, who are looking to be in the finals, if not in. I've got to pull the ladders up to have a look at that. And then they've got Aberfeldy. So...
Because Melton, they're going to need to win a couple games because they're 12 points back from safety. So they'll need a couple of those scalps.
I'll bring that ladder up now. So, yes, Glenroy on top. As I said last week, they've already cemented their position in the finals. Club Sunbury. So those two are generally the runaway leaders at this stage, but this is where it gets interesting. Deer Park, Kingsbury, Brunswick, Yarraville, Footscray. They're all tight. So, again, you drop a game and you're out. You win a game and you're potentially in.
There's the R. I see what you mean with the R.
Yeah, relegated. What do you think the R meant?
No, well, I hadn't seen it before.
Ah. Okay.
That's okay.
Johnny Rich is asking, I'm not going to be able to answer it. I'm sure somebody might be able to on the chat, whether Melton still have their Canberra fly-in.
Well, they had Des Can Jr., but he's from Queensland.
Yep.
And Flynn O'Shaughnessy?
Yeah, he's talking about Flynn O'Shaughnessy. Not sure. So as you can see on the ladder there, Aberfeldy's our first relegation for the year, so I'm sure they're disappointed with that, but they'll bounce back next year. Here we go, Dean. You can talk about this one.
Flynn played third to Des Can Jr. on the weekend, and they won by 5 over Mark Bullows.
Oh, righto. There you go.
So they both played, yeah.
Yep. There you go, Johnny. Look it up in BowlsLink, just like we do. Righto. Div 2, Section 2 results. You can talk all about this, Dean. All you want. Go for it.
So Middle Park, 69 to 59 over Moorabbin.
I'd tip Moorabbin too. Disappointed.
2.5 rings up. One of those rings that didn't get up was mine. Blackburn.
Hang on.
68.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It's all right. We'll get to it. I'm glad I didn't look up the scores, but I'm glad you told me.
We're beaten by Bentley. We played Bentley the week before, and following that game, they were pretty keen on getting the win next week just to get some separation from Blackburn.
Yes.
They were sort of 6th and 7th, so big win to the crew from Bentley. This one was a very big one. EEBC 85, 3 rinks up over Bowie 78. And then finally Melbourne 94, 16 points over Richmond Union with the one rink 61.
So what we'll do quickly, we'll pull up the ladder and then we'll talk about your section and who the front runners are and what you sort of see over the next 3 weeks. So Middle Park with a big F. We should have put a big FU next to it. So they've well and truly cemented their spot in the finals. Beaumaris, EEBC, Moorabbin, Melbourne, Bentley, Blackburn and Richmond Union. So it's going to be a bit of a fight between Bentley and Blackburn for that last spot in relegation. I'm sure neither of them want it. Melbourne's probably fairly safe. But the top
play.
Yeah,
the
top 4
games. But...
Top 4 are pretty much settled in, Dean, you would have thought.
Yeah.
I mean, most people saw it's been settled since about round 6.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of separation pretty quickly. A couple of teams who were battling to get some wins, and that's just the way that the cookie crumbled. I felt there's been some really, really big home ground advantages. EEBC, trying to get a win there is very, very, very hard. Moorabbin are super strong at home. Bowie, very strong at home as well. So, it's been interesting to watch it all unfold.
Yep. Now, I was just having a think, Dan. What do Moorabbin play on? Because they've got
Moorabbin
two grass and a plastic.
Grass. Yeah, they've got a newer kind of grass out the back of their place.
Yeah,
and they've got the two plastics out the front.
Yep. Oh, so they've ripped up their other grass.
Out the back?
No, it used to be a grass. If you're looking at it from the club rooms, on the left grass, on the right synthetic. Like for the last, say, I don't know, 8 years or however long.
I think it might be two synthetics out the front now. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, when was it? Bronia played there last year. Bronia's Division 6 side, or it might have been the year before, and that green at the time was an absolute paddock. And I said at the time, it's you may as well go and play in the backyard. It was that bad. So
the one they've got out back now is absolutely beautiful.
They were relaying that
many times now.
Yeah, yep. No, that's all right.
But,
I just thought I'd ask.
Matty, I said to you, you shot me a message last week, asking for, a comment from the club about. No, I
didn't. You just decided to make a statement. Don't dob me in.
Yeah, I did. But it just goes to show, like that's a really good side, that Moorabbin side, and that was by far the toughest game we've had for the year, and they've got some seriously talented players. They've got a brilliant culture. They're genuinely good people, and it was a hell of a game. The margin didn't get above 10 shots either way for the entire game, and it was a real grind. It felt like a final, and it was great. It was really good.
It's good. They're good to be part of those games.
Yeah. Now, Brian Williams is asking, Dean Kuran, how's the new combo with Ninja going? Well, I've got a pretty simple answer for this. Be better. That's the first one for the night.
Yeah, we're 1-1. We had a ripping win the week before. Unfortunately, his third absolutely let him down this week. That being me, but Ninja's been fantastic this year. He's had a great couple of years, the young fella, and turning into that leader that we know he can be. So, see if I can bounce back for him next week.
Mate, you're only as good as your last game of bowls, and you just need to. There you go.
So I will be better, I promise.
Don't say that. My last game was shocking.
Yeah, but we've Toddy, the amount of people that I run into, and they say, "Oh, we just have an absolute laugh when you get stuck in the toddy." I think we've had enough. Poor Toddy, he's had enough this year.
It. Nearly every week I've copped it.
Every week you've copped it, so that's And I didn't give myself a be better this week, but I'm not going to. Don't rub.
Just one last thing on that section. I know that the last game of the season, Moorabbin played Bowie, and I'm pretty sure EEBC have to play. I think they might play Moorabbin one more time as well. So I might have got that one wrong, but there's that last game of the season is massive. Could very well be for that second spot. But EEBC are finding some serious form at the right time.
Yeah, well, Moorabbin's got Melbourne at home this week. EEBC's playing Bentley at Bentley, and Bowie's playing Blackburn.
That's tricky. Going to Bentley, that's synthetic. If the wind's up, if it's doing funny stuff, Gary Waldron would be remiss of me to say if it's pouring rain there, it's very, very tough to play.
Yeah, well, I think the outlook is pretty nice for the rest of the week, unlike today's stinker. I'll just have a look. Yeah, so they're saying Saturday will be nice, 31. So there won't be a lot of wind.
They'll still put on the sprinklers on the synthetic though. So
what are we saying, mate?
Nothing.
No.
We got little bit of banter between us and Bentley after cheeky little game last year, but all in good fun now. We laugh about it now.
Yeah. No, fair enough. All right, Division 3 with my boys, Croydon. We'll have a look at the results from the weekend. No, not Division 3. I meant Section 3. I am playing Division 3. What are you talking
You
about?
can't even spell your home team, mate.
Can't even spell my own team's name. Croydon. 66, 2 ranks up, defeated by Mitcham. 80, 2 ranks up there. I'll get onto that in a second. Whittlesea, 90, 3 ranks up, defeated Mooralbark. 74, got some comments on that one as well. Bundoora, 80, 3 ranks up over Vermont South. Again, don't need to go on about Vermont South. And Laylaw snuck over the line against Yarra Glen, 4-80. So just on the Croydon Mitcham game, we were talking to Unch last week, I think it was, and I think everyone out this side of town knows the circumstances that have come about at Mitcham with 6 of their players from the top side walking out the door over the Christmas period. As I said, I've heard from 2 sides of the story. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And everybody thought that, rain was going to come and the thunderstorms and the sky was going to collapse and the world was going to end for Mitcham. And they nearly got up over Yarra Glen at Yarra Glen the week before by 2 shots, which is always a tough gig. And then they've come to Croydon and given us, I wouldn't say a lesson, but they've rolled Croydon at Croydon, which is not an easy one to do, as top of the ladder Laylaw knows, because we drew with them. So all is good at Mitcham, and I think sometimes you get circumstances that are beyond what you can control, and I think Mitcham have turned around and, with the people they've got left and said, righto, that's it, let's galvanise as a club and move forward, which it looks...
Has there been 6 leave?
6 leave.
From the top side?
Could be. Yeah, from the top side. So it could be, 2 of them were skips. Again, I'm not getting into the details. That's their business and their internal stuff to get into. But no, everyone knew about it and they were like, that was the off-season talk. And as I said, the world was going to end for Mitcham, and they've just turned around and said, no, it's not. We're still...
Where did most of those players go to, do we know?
Ringwood, I believe, playing Division 2 at Ringwood. But again, not getting into it. I've got mates on both sides of the fence on that one. So
yeah. But it just makes it very interesting because now Ringwood have to be careful with selection.
I don't know. Again, I'm not sure how it's...
with the finals rules and stuff. Because if you bring 6 players into a team, when they drop, you can't drop 6 players because they'll have played too many games in a higher level. I only know because I've had it at Fitzroy, and I literally...
Oh, okay.
I contacted Bowls Victoria and said, I've got a spreadsheet of every player in the club. I know exactly how many games everyone's played. It's physically impossible for me to give everyone a game without breaking the rules. And they said, well, you'll have to... You can't pick someone that's... if it's going to be against the rules. I said, so you don't want Joe Blow to play this week because he's ineligible because I've already got 3 players that have played there, too many games higher? I said, I can't do it any other way. Because I said, whoever I bring down's played too many. And they said, sorry, that's the rules. You can't have too many. So I had to tell one bloke, sorry, you can't play at all because of the numbers, because people came in after the season started and didn't play in Spring Carnival and what have you.
Well, I may be able to get...
How the rules play out if you have been
transfers.
Playing Division 1 at a different club and then you've transferred, as these guys have, to a Division 2
into
club
a Division
and you've played
2
a majority
side.
of your games in Division 1.
Doesn't matter.
If you're then eligible.
It's
only your club. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is that's a... Yeah, it could be a shady one too.
Yeah. But if that's... but we don't have any rules in terms of what division you can play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only you can't have played more games higher at your club.
At your club? Yeah. Oh, righto. Okay. Again, that's a Troy Stafford question. I don't get into it. So, again, we're looking at the ladder. So, there was a bit of movement this week. So, Laylaw on top. Again, I don't know if anyone can back up this rumour I'm hearing. but I'm hearing Matty Lucas won't be playing for Laylaw in the finals or potentially the grand final or something else because of national duty. So if somebody could get back to me on the truth of that rumour.
He'll be in the Trans-Tasman, because I think he's in the squad or what have you, this weekend. So he won't be there this weekend. And then I think Queensland pennant starts.
So
he plays up there.
Pennant affects a lot, particularly in Division 1. I know, I think Sunbury had Kelvin Kirko come down, and they've got Mark Armstrong.
I think that was for a one-off. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Port have Brendan Wilson. So there's a few splashed around in Division 1. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, because I know Laylaw last year brought to the finals. I think might have been similar to this year where they only lost a game and then, didn't get through as everyone expected through to
It also depends what
Prem Reserve
they play for in Queensland. So like we had Ryan Bester playing for us last year, and he couldn't play the Friday night game, the last round, whereas every other fly-in could play because where he was playing on the Saturday morning, a Saturday lunchtime, he needed to take a 3-hour bus. So he couldn't fly home early enough, so he couldn't play. So, but all the others could because they were playing like just in Queensland, like on the Gold Coast. So they could fly out at 8 o'clock and get to the game. But he couldn't because he was having to travel. So, a lot depends on where they're playing too.
Yep. Well, just a quick look at the ladder here. So Layla on top. Mitcham are now a good game clear of Bundoora, Croydon and Yarra Glen. So Yarra Glen will be ruining the fact that they lost that because they were in the top 4 last week. Whittlesea, big win for them over the weekend. Gets them out of the relegation zone. They played Murrelbach, so I know talking to Jimmy Bullo from Murrelbach, he said, look, this is their do or die game. So Murrelbach dropped that game, so they're pretty much thinking themselves that they're getting relegated. And Vermont South,
they have to win. They have to win too, and hope Whittlesea don't win really.
Yeah, that's right. And they've got third place Bundoora at home. Then they've got Laylaw at home. And then I'm guessing they've got a game away. Yeah, game away at Yarra Glen. So pretty tough run home. But I know... No. But I know they're kind of swinging for the fences a little bit because they normally don't play on their synthetic. And the last couple of home games they've played on their synthetic. So I think they're just swinging for the fences to try something different that people wouldn't usually...
We did that last week against Altona. We changed greens and it didn't work.
No. No. It generally doesn't. I've seen people water greens because the team they're playing is, on a really quick synthetic, and it generally bites people in the backside if you try and do something different. So
sometimes, yeah.
Yep. All right. Finish up. We'll get on to Division 1, Section 4. All right. Parkdale defeated Narre Warren 78-74. Cheltenham 80 defeated Cranbourne. See, there's another spelling mistake. I really need to check my spelling mistakes. Cheltenham defeated Cranbourne 80-76. So another close one there. Mulgrave defeated by Mentone Edge, and Mulgrave absolutely scared the cuckers out of Mentone Edge, if that's the scoreline. Because Mentone Edge are pretty much similar to you guys, don't? In that they're well and truly on top.
Got a bit of space up top.
Yes. And then Keysborough have nearly knocked over Pakenham. So some interesting results there because we'll bring up the ladder. And if we look at those results, a lot of sort of top 4 teams were playing bottom 4 teams and nearly lost it. So
it's still quite open, this section.
It is.
2, 3, 4, 5 can all make finals, and 6, 7, 8 are, and maybe even, Cranbourne in 5th are got to be careful of relegation. Because is it 2 that go out, isn't it, at Division 1?
2 that go out of Div 1, yes.
Yeah. So, even Cranbourne in 5th, they're not they're not safe yet.
No. And Keezy can still potentially make the finals.
This is where I find it really hard when you've got sections where top 4 play finals and 2 go out. Because then you've got 2 in the middle that don't do anything. And, you can play the last round and you win, you play finals, you lose, you get relegated.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We know what it is at the start. So it's,
No, that's right. And Mentone, like I said, Mentone on top, pretty similar to Middle Park. They've actually lost 2 games, Middle Park, as we know. But nearly got close to being rolled on the weekend, and same with Pakenham. So
they've been clear all year, Mentone.
Yeah, but no. So that should be an interesting run home to watch. So next week we'll probably have a bit more of an idea as to who's locked into the finals. As I said, I think Middle Park's the only certainty to be locked into the finals in terms of points at this stage, but I think next week we'll definitely know who's in, who's out.
Mathematically that is, but let's be honest, there's probably at least 2 in each section that they're going to play finals.
Yes, but as a professional unit, mate, I can't just score people off because I feel like it. I mean, it'd be nice, but no. We can all, as everybody knows and all the viewers know, you can sit there and
have a TAB segment, which is got no idea, or you can't put some of those in.
But honestly, I get bit in the arse enough with some of the stuff I say. I don't want to get bitten in the arse in case somebody comes from behind, does a Steve Bradbury, and then they're going, "Hey, Clarkie, you wrote us off. You completely wrote us off. You said we were relegated." But no. I'm friends to many people in bowls, Toddy. I don't want to peeve anyone off. I do enough of that on the Bowls Talk Facebook page. So, again, if you want to see Clarkie making an absolute dick of himself, jump onto the Bowls Talk Victoria Facebook page and join up, and you'll see many of the wonderful comments that many of us make. So, Dean, thank you very much for the late call up, mate. For those that don't know, I gave Dean 10 minutes to jump on, and he was somewhat prepared, fortunately. So, thanks, buddy.
Very, very grateful. Thank you for having me.
No, mate, we'll have you on. We'll have you on again come finals time, and I'm sure you can break down a few more things that are going on. Toddy, won't see you for the rest of the year. We'll see you on the show, but that's it. You're off for the rest of the season now.
Barring a catastrophe with our third side, yes.
Yep.
Because there's no use playing in the second side. They're pretty much safe to, I think, finish top 2, and then third side I think they're 5th or 6th at the moment, and should be safe with relegation. So
should be safe.
Yeah, that might be it for this season.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Other than I've got to play Ali in the club singles final, so that'll be an easy one.
Oh yeah. When's that? I wouldn't mind coming down for a watch. When is it?
Well, he's only going to New Zealand at the moment to go and play in the Trans-Tasman.
So that'll be another.
We're planning for hopefully Thursday next week, but we don't know yet. I just said let me know when you're free and we'll play it then. So.
Thursday. Yeah, we'll see. Everyone trains. Just make it a showcase game, mate. Put on a Wednesday night or a Friday night or some Monday night.
Yeah. I got a live.
Matt's Jackson Balls can live stream it.
Toddy couldn't pay me enough to live stream that.
No, it'll be on a Thursday for our members that train and stuff like that. So,
no, wonderful.
I obviously can't play Fridays, and I can't do Wednesdays. Got basketball training and footy training, and so yeah. Yeah,
but you've got a couple of, because people will ask, and I'm sure they will. People will ask why are you out for the rest of the year, but I think you've got 2 Friday night games that you can't play.
You've already played next Saturday's game,
round 12,
because we played that last Saturday.
Yep.
And then we play Yarraville on Friday night.
On Friday night, yep.
I think that's the live stream game, because Bolsvik are insisting that we play on Fridays.
Yep.
And then the last round has to be played on a Friday night, so that it's fair for everyone, so no one can...
Oh, everyone's playing the Friday night, righto.
Yeah, except
Is that because of the fly-ins?
No. It's so that you can't be like, some teams playing on Friday night because they want to have a live stream game. So then hypothetically they play the live stream game, and, we were like, well, if we win, say we were 10 points out of relegation and the team above us won, we're like, oh, well, don't worry, now we'll drop players to the second side. to strengthen our team.
Oh,
So you can't do that.
yep. So
But
there's
the
no...
problem is, no one knows the final result as such.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's still the makeup games to be played that are going to be played after the last round. So, I would
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there because those games have already been played for the lower divisions anyway, so it's not like...
No.
I get what they're doing it on the Friday night because, like you said, if you know results, then you can say, well, on the Saturday, hey, don't play in the top side. We'll throw 4 blokes into the second side to get them over the line or the third side.
Yeah.
Toddy, are you saying that those Friday night games aren't the last games of the season?
Well, they're round 14. But round 9, 2 teams got washed out. So they have
they've got to play
2 games. So 4 teams are 1 game behind as of after this Saturday. And they're playing it supposedly the Saturday after round 14.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, yeah. And I would have assumed that they would have tried to have them played beforehand so that it was an equal playing field for everyone on that Friday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because going into the Saturday game, if they played on the Saturday, Bundoora, for example, they know that they need to get 14 points to catch whoever's fourth, for example.
Yeah.
Because that team's already finished on their points. So, yeah, I know it's hard to fit them in, and I've spoken to some people, and they're like, we want to play one night, they want to play somewhere else, we can't find a date, and it's confusing.
Well, like
what
you
worried
guys,
me was what sort of worried me was that's one washout. What if there was 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if we were meant to be playing pennant today, and it's 40 degrees. You don't finish the game. You got to find another time for teams to play. It just becomes very hard.
Can I ask what's the reason for replaying the washout when every other game in Victorian Bowls is declared a draw?
I don't know. That's just the rule that Vic and the team they have a meeting before each year, and they try and talk about the different, rules and how they
different scenarios and stuff.
Yeah, and that's just what came out or the end result of that meeting. Whether it was what they all wanted or not, I haven't got a clue. But
right.
Yeah.
So if games got abandoned, they'd have that time to play one after that Friday night of round 14 or something like that.
I don't know. But I look at it and think, what if there was 3 games washed out?
Exactly.
3 weekends.
Yeah.
And I also do know that, hypothetically, if you were a team, and it will go in this present season, if you were washed out and you're playing Deer Park, that was a huge advantage compared to if you're washed out and you're playing against us at Clayton. We've only won 1. So it could make a difference at the end of the season, but it's, I don't know. It's also the luck of the draw, but
it is.
All right, gents. Thank you for a wonderful show. Hope everyone has a... No, my pleasure, as always. I hope everyone has a